Well, hello and welcome. Welcome back. Or welcome if you've not been here before. A general welcome. This is going to go into the wood burning playlist that I've made. I found a cheaper way of making a wood burner, and I think this is a good time to do a progress update. And one of these, this is actually two wood burners strapped together. One of these is now 6 months old. The other one is about, I think, 2 to 3 months. That's rough. I mean, I'm not sure exactly. This is the second chimney I've had in that 6 months. So you get 2 or 3 months out of my tin can chimneys. But they are very secure with no attachments whatsoever. There is one there actually, but it didn't need it. As you can see, they don't come apart. So that was next, well, you could say that's free for that. That doesn't really cost anything because I eat or use all of those ingredients ordinarily. So we're going to see if this will actually go back into its pack form, so it's portable still. It's obviously quite rusty, but at first glance I can't see anything tragically wrong with it. There is a couple of warps, but nothing that is creating any instability. This hasn't been cleaned out, so I emptied the ash tray, which is just this simple tray. And that is holding out fine. That's looking like that hasn't even warped. It's still a good tray, and there's nothing special about that. That was £3. So, and the rest of it, there's got to be a problem with it somewhere, because it hasn't been looked after. It's been left where the rain can get into it, and I've put it through some very hot temperatures. Keep the bits. Put it through some very hot temperatures because I often use a fan to blast the wood back to life, and fan assisted wood burning is a lot higher temperature than standard ordinary wood burning. I know this is a kind of a jet system and it's quite efficient, so that bit come off nice and easily. This bit, however, may not be. So we're going to need my trusty Swiss Army knife because there is a couple of screws on here. It's a Phillips. Presuming there's a bolt at the back. Okay, so these screws aren't in the best of health. So there we have those three components, which is the roof. That was an ashtray, and that was an ashtray. They're both identical. And then this was the old door that would have been for this one, because this is the door I use now. I better just give it that. Initially, this looks quite solid. A little bit stiff. Needs a bit of a brush up, but effectively it still folds up, and then these bits can go in here. Like so. I guess that would be nice to get a tray that fits this exactly, just for portability. That shouldn't be an issue. There is plenty of sizes to choose from. And this, I guess you could bend those back in, but that's going to weaken them being steel. So I would rather leave that as it is for now. I don't quite know what we're going to do with it. But that'll do for now. So basically, yeah, it still works fine. It's still portable, even after 6 months of heavy use. The design is still solid. There's two types of these, one with folding trays. I would recommend you get those folding tray ones, as they are basically the strength of the whole thing, really. There's a bolt there, and a bolt there and there, but otherwise, yeah, that is still working. Even after this winter that I spent a lot of time camping and using it. So a bargain. I mean, this costs, I think it was £26 for 2 of these stoves. And the rest is pennies and effort. So it gets a big thumbs up here. I recommend anyone else to try it out if you fancy having a nice little wood burner with a chimney. The chimney pipe can make a couple of improvements on this. The first one is an idea that I'm going to steal from Mark A. Cornish. Hello Mark. I'm going to basically make a collar, a larger tin with some bolts in, just for the exiting of the tent area, just to give you a little bit more of a cushion, because I'm getting a couple of scalding marks where it's leaned over one side. So the other issue that I'm going to address is going to hopefully solve that as well, is to triangulate with 3 tethering ropes away from this, so it is solidly pegged into the ground from 3 directions. That should be easily done. I will need a little bit of metal wire maybe to come away, because this does get very hot. So a bit of metal wire, then a bit of paracord down to a peg or something to tie it off to, so it never falls over. Because these don't disconnect. So the only danger is that this falls over. So that will increase the safety. Adding those two things. This, I can't see any way to improve it at the moment. I'll give it some thought, but I could get rid of a few pieces of metal here and there, but it's only going to shave a little bit of weight off, and I'm not sure it's worth doing. It's not too heavy. It's obviously not light like titanium or anything quite like that, but it's stainless steel, and there's a bit of weight that comes with that, isn't there? But I am very surprised how well this thing has held up for the money that it cost. It is far exceeded my expectations. So give it a go. So I'm not going to do much to this. I might clean it up a little bit with the Dremel, take a little bit of this rust off. It's still very thick. It's not worn through or melted. It's still very good, the form and the shape. So all I'm going to do is replace 3 bolts that are on here, and also use butterfly nuts or wing nuts, just for easy assemble and disassemble, so you don't need tools as such, or at the most a Swiss Army knife, and that'll be good to go. I can't think of another thing I can do to improve this. Yet. Everything is always ongoing, so stay tuned. Just sitting here looking at it, and I'm thinking, well, there's not a lot stopping me adding another one, really, is there? So there's the front and the door. I could just buy another one, take that section out exactly as I did there, and have an even longer one. You can't come out on width, I don't think, but you can get as long as you like. So I could have one that long, although you might get issues with the draw up the chimney. You'd have to have it more central, I guess. But an extra one is viable, I think, and for an extra £13, maybe more now, that could be achieved. The door could be used for the next lid, or that lid, and then the chimney one on the end. So still options for improvements and adjustments. So that just about covers that 6-month review of the cheap eBay stove from China. A couple of places it has warped a little, but it's totally operational still. Can't fault it. Check my playlist for how I built this, which is quite easy really, but that would give you the methods and how I got to this point here. The dream was originally based on this. I've always wanted to make a tin can chimney, like my favourite childhood book, which was Stig of the Dump, and they made a tin can chimney in their little den, and that inspired me to this day, and I've finally achieved one of my childhood dreams, let's say, and I've gone a stage further with it, so it's all good. Check the playlist out, check up to this point in time, and check the future out, because we're not finished here yet. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.